Hi, my name is Robert Hershey, and I'm a student at Concordia University, Irvine, Townsend Institute. This is a community needs proposal for my 606 class with Dr. Jackson. My proposal is a mental health awareness of cancer for specifically for Deschutes County, Oregon, and we will just go ahead and get started. Right off the bat, just want to bring attention to Deschutes County specifically for lifestyle and cancer and what that integration could look like. Deschutes County is a fastest growing county for the state of Oregon. The main city is called Bend, Oregon, and it attracts large people moving not just from metropolitan centers of the state of Oregon, but also from Washington and California and other areas as well. Largest demographic population are 65 and plus. So it's a very large retiree assisted living community. And this is also seen as a most expensive cost of living community for the state of Oregon comparatively, which means that a lot of a person's determining factor of a good quality of life is going to be dependent on income and what those resources look like. Also, for Deschutes County, it seems that cancer diagnosis is a higher percentage compared to the state of Oregon. This is probably in part to the fact that the demographic population is 65 plus and older. As for in general of that demographic, cancer and other similar types of diseases is very common for people to have. So that's Deschutes County. Specifically, what's a local assessment for an awareness of cancer? Why is cancer unique for Deschutes County? It is the leading cause of mortality for Deschutes County. Deschutes County is it's overall a very health focused community. It is safe. It has a good lifestyle, but for the demographic as a whole, for all lifespans, cancer is a leading cause for mortality, which is very unfortunate, even though it is a rare occasion for people to have. But the majority of cancer patients that live in Deschutes County, they live below the federal poverty level. So again, referring back to income and cost of living, it puts additional strains as well for people that are going through cancer. Another research fact is that the local hospital is St. Charles Health Systems, and they do have a good oncology clinic here. However, it is ranked 8th overall for the state, and the top oncology clinic is located in Portland, Oregon, with OSU. Oregon State has a clinic there, and it is a top level treatment, but it does require many Central Oregon residents to commute. What that looks like for people that live in Bend specifically, it is 175 to 200 mile one-way commute to this clinic, and many have to go in for one day and then they have to return back, and that can become a weekly trip. For mental health awareness of cancer, what is the overall mental health overview? These are just summary points of research that has been done for cancer patients. It reports that there's someone going through cancer is a great increase of mental health disorders and behavioral problems. Cancer will stress existing mental health conditions. It creates specifically feelings of isolation and a decrease in meaning of life. Cancer patients experience heightened stress for disease-related factors, societal factors, as well as existential factors. We'll get to those three things later on at the end of this presentation. But in summary, the disease-related refers to treatment that happens for cancer. Someone who's going through cancer, their body takes a toll, things that they're not able to do. There can be great loss of function and not ability to maybe participate in the local community as they used to. And so this creates additional stress, just the fact that you're going through cancer treatment. There's a societal impact when you're going through treatment. Your relationships become more strained. It becomes harder to talk about cancer, especially when you're surrounded in an environment where people have, it is a very high percentage of people that have an outlook of life. And so when you're surrounded with that type of positivity, it's really difficult to integrate cancer into the conversation, into our lifestyle, especially if you're a cancer patient and you don't have an existing community that supports you in that. Existential factors. This is specifically refers to how people that are going through cancer treatment. Very easy to imagine a life without cancer, meaning a life without them existing, going through treatments because of cancer. And an example of what this scenario will specifically look like is if it's a parent or maybe a mom that's going through breast cancer. It's a very common cancer diagnosis for women, and if they happen to be a mother or happen to be a spouse to a significant other, this can add tons of stress onto a person because you're thinking about any dependents you may have or family members that are needed upon you, that you are responsible for relationally and in development. And these are existential factors that can compound on stress. Mental health awareness of cancer has three simple purpose and goals, and we'll go over those here briefly. At the end of the day, the whole goal is to create awareness for those that are going through cancer, because cancer affects many lives. It doesn't affect just the life of the person who's going through treatment. It affects the life of our mental health, the mental health of our doctors and of our nurses and our practitioners as well. It adds stress on any family members of someone that's going through cancer. And then on top of that, there is also post-care treatment that has to happen for someone that maybe goes through years of cancer treatment and then all of a sudden ceases because cancer goes away, which is great news. But then you're still left with maybe there could be trauma, or maybe there could be a loss or grieving that can happen. A typical thing that you see is a survivor's guilt that can be term and has PTSD like symptoms. All this happens because treatment of cancer ceases and the person enters into a survivorship. So these are just the very basic goals and purposes. And the purpose of mental health awareness of cancer is to help address that this is a very specific need. This is a very specific mental health condition that people go through. Cancer is non-normative. It doesn't have any connections to demographic. There's not a reason why Deschutes County has a higher rating, maybe other than the age of the demographic of people moving here. But cancer affects lives across the country. It's across the state. It's across our own family members. And there's no connection. There's no reason to it. And so we want to recognize that this is a very non-normative thing that happens to people's lives, is we want to create a specialized care for these people that are going through this non-normative stage. We want to create specialized care, not just for people that are going through treatment presently, but as I said, also for survivors as well, or as you can just say, people that cease cancer treatment, and just to care for them as well. Caregivers are really big people group that get overlooked as well. These are people that they do not have cancer themselves, but they share the burden, they share the responsibility, and in fact, they share the stress, especially if it's a spouse or a loved one, or if it's a child or a parent. These caregivers also need specialized care for just to increase flourishing and function and of life. We aim to increase a sense of individual flourishing and local community involvement and awareness for the local cancer patient population. Specifically for Deschutes County, and what the aim is for this region is that it's to create spaces where flourishing can happen. It's to create an awareness for a local community to be involved and to participate, and aware that there is a large portion of people that struggle with cancer, and that there are physical resources that are available, but we want to create a community-based treatment, community-based awareness for those that are going through this type of treatment. When it comes to evaluations of our proposed program, we will be using real-time evaluations. And so what that means is that we will utilize the participation interest. So basically just examining how people attend our programs, how people attend our awareness opportunities or educational seminars, or even just like local event businesses and their participation. We will just be utilizing just general participation interest, local community involvement, and then the counseling treatments, the short, long-term benefits. And what What that basically means is that this is very voluntary. We are not requiring everyone to be treated by cancer or caregivers of cancer to have to go through these type of programs, but that as always, it'll be voluntary to create a sense of autonomy, but also allow the freedom to be able to participate in these programs as short as they may or as long-term as they may. And so the programs will be accommodated to be able to facilitate for people to come and go, to participate as long as they need to, or based on their interest. So mental health awareness of cancer, the program delivery and local involvement, these proposals are pretty basic as well. The programs will be, the setting will be mostly in process groups or small group settings with specialized one-to-one counseling care as needed. But we really believe that with passionate licensed counselors or therapists, that as they facilitate group therapy or process groups, that you create an atmosphere that's peer-based. You begin to meet people, you get to hear each other's stories, you learn how to share and to be vulnerable with what you're going through with cancer. And these are very specific, these are very intentionally designed environments that'll be treated with care. The goal will be to collaborate with the existing structures that are in place. So St. Charles Health System, Ronald McDonald House Charities has a location here, as well as other nonprofits that are located here, such as Cancer with Compassion. These are existing organizations and structures that have these missing pieces that we would be able to help collaborate and help fill and to provide fuller service to those that are in need. The MHAC will function as a volunteer service sector, which basically means that clients will have the autonomy to participate in mental health services based on volunteer basis. Again, which is very general, which is very functional, but it's very important for people to have, as they are already used to choosing their treatments. They're already used to choosing how they integrate cancer in with their own life. We will honor that as the fullest as we can, and each service will be designed to be able to accommodate for people choosing to come and go as they please. Local involvement, as again, collaborating with these local systems that are already in place, St. Charles Health System, Ronald McDonald Charities, Cancer with Compassion. Again, these are already local systems and communities that have been participating in the cancer community. What we would be immediately trying to do is trying to collaborate with them, bring them together, and then to provide a fuller mental health service for the community. By hosting recreational competitions, annual fundraising events, Bend, Oregon specifically, but Deschutes County and Central Oregon is a very health-centered environment, which is really exciting. There's a lot of recreational activities that can happen year-round. There's a lot of competitions, a lot of fundraising that can happen, and we would just want to come alongside that existing culture and to create that and to use that to be able to create more awareness for those lives who have been affected by cancer. With this, we would encourage the participants in the MHAC to have a space to encourage to share their treatment story and be actively supported by local community. Again, this is all going to be done voluntarily. We will never require anyone to be doing this. However, we do find that there is a space for encouragement and involvement and increased awareness when people get to have the space to share their story in a healthy and a secure way, and that the community will respond to those type of stories and needs, and will want to be active in encouraging those lives who have been affected by cancer. We will want to, with this local involvement, it will create awareness of how local community can advocate for those diagnosed with cancer and cancer caregivers. Again, the goal will be to use this as an educational space, is to create awareness, but more importantly, for how the local community can be more involved, or just to advocate for those who are diagnosed with cancer. Again, a lot of the stress that people feel then go through cancer is like they have their treatments that are going through, they might have some relational support systems in place, but there's a lot of societal factors that are in play. There's a lot of financial hardships that can happen. There's a lot of even jobs and vocations can be deeply affected by diagnosis of cancer, and with traveling, and I mean, the list can go on and on what people have to deal with and how they have to live with cancer treatment while they're in Deschutes County. And so we want to help create spaces how the local community can be advocates in themselves, and to show that they are supporting those that are in need. Sampling of the initial program services and how we would a pipeline, as if you can say, as people want to be interested and participate in mental health awareness of cancer. It'll begin as just building just general awareness and mental health education. Again, many people don't think about mental health being a problem or being a proposed treatment for those that are going through cancer. And so we want to offer free mental health educational seminars to just show that there's great integration with mental health awareness, but also with those whose lives have been affected by cancer, and how there can be healing and how there can be flourishing that can happen through licensed professional care. Local health sponsorships will also develop great awareness and education for a local environment, but also for a local community, but also for those whose lives have been affected by cancer. And the St. Charles Health System referrals, and just to come alongside their knowledge and their and what they have, to be able to offer services there on site, or to be able to offer visitations to the oncology clinic, and to be able to just develop relationships and awareness through those lenses. And then ultimately is to join and participate in a support group that's facilitated by LPCs. And these will be group locations that can be either in partnership with local charities, such as the Ronald McDonald House Charities, that already has an existing facility. They already are very passionate organization that seeks to serve and to facilitate the needs of those lives who are affected by cancer and other similar diseases. The MHAC Clinic Center would be a group facility location, and then volunteer group therapy participations. Again, these are just opportunities to help create healthy environments, safe spaces, but also just very accommodating, very hospitable in nature, and to be able to create people familiarity, but also a sense of safety and comfort is priority. And then ultimately to offer volunteer involvement in the planning, participation in local community events. Again, we see that the strongest voices are not just voices from people who are upfront and maybe leading an organization like administrational lenses, but for people, for local environment to see that, no, these are real people, that these are real people in our environment, and maybe we had no idea that they were going through cancer. A lot of people's cancer treatment maybe isn't as aggressive, and they can be going through cancer, and neighbors won't even know, and workplace won't even know. And so this is how to basically train them on how to share one story, and how important that is to do so through whatever comfort level you may have. That there's great power to volunteer in event coordinating, to be a part of something that maybe you're very passionate about, whether it be a recreational event, something that you're not able to do as you maybe used to do, but to be able to be there, to be present, and to share, but also learn how to give back to the community while you're in treatment is really key for us as well. And then ultimately to also offer specialty programs that are offered for cancer caregivers and family members. Again, not wanting to forget that just because you're not going through cancer doesn't mean that there are people whose lives are not deeply affected by treatment of a close friend or loved one or family member. In conclusion, we recognize that there's a community need for greater awareness that cancer deeply affects mental illness and creates a low mental health. And so our community solution is to provide specialized counseling from LPCs in cancer and mental health education. We recognize that there's a community need of their societal isolation, that our local environment does not create the ease of mind to be able to say and to process that, like, what you're going through is cancer. We'd want to create process groups and peer-based support groups that will be able to help create a sense of family, of knowledge of one another, and to create just that basic friendships, and that this person is seen, and that they don't have to be scared or afraid about sharing their story, but also that they are not alone, and that there are those that have walked this path before, and that there are those that are willing to be there alongside them as they're going through this journey. The community need of that there are existential factors at play, and so this is the fear of not living a good, like the fear of leaving behind someone, and family members or dependents, and the fear of that you're not able to live your best life because you're going through cancer, that cancer's taken away so many things, And so we want to create structures that will create flourishing individual purpose for those that are going through cancer. This is highly important for us. We believe that there is great purpose for someone, even though they're going through a disease such as cancer, that there is still great meaning and purpose for those in need. These are the references that we used both in the handbook, but also in this presentation, as well as the formal proposal. This is not extensive. There's lots of research that has been done to integrating of the need of what cancer does to those, and what cancer does to the lives of many people. And what we just want to recognize is that we want to create awareness for those whose lives have been affected by cancer. We do not want to be a community where we do not forget those that are going through cancer, and we do not want to have structures in place where we are not providing the fullest amount of care that is needed for these in need. So thank you so much for this time. Thank you for allowing me to have this presentation, and I hope this has been beneficial and enlightening information for you. Thank you.